That is not a job I would do. As soon as I entered that code, it would be gone instantly out of my head. And the poor chap down there will be. Oh, then you don't have to keep the code, do you? Can I steal alarm sounds?
Ah, Mr. Holmes, could I ask you for a favour?
Please do.
I think I can say on behalf of all the staff that we would be honoured if you would care to write something in our guest book.
With pleasure, O'Sullivan.
I just use Holmes's pen.
You seem worn out, O'Sullivan. A good night's sleep would do you good.
A good night's sleep would do me good. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Is something worrying you?
As you know, Westgate Prison will soon be demolished, and I'm spending most of my nights studying for my exam to join the police. You understand, I have to think about my future. So sleep isn't a priority at the moment.
Scotland Yard is always looking for young, competent and motivated men. Would a letter of recommendation from me allow you to get some sleep?
What? A letter from Mr. Sherlock Holmes recommending me for Scotland Yard? Are you quite serious?
Completely serious, my young friend. May I use this writing paper? The one on your desk.
1,000 thanks, Mr. Holmes. 1,000 thanks.
It is addressed to Inspector Baines, a good friend of mine. There's no need to remind you that it must be opened only by the person to whom it is addressed.
Yes, of course. I'll give it to him personally. Thank you again, Mr. Holmes.
Bye-bye.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
So, you do things throughout the game that look a bit weird. Like, why would Holmes be recommending this guy? Why was he paying so much attention to that suspicious pen? Like, all this comes together later on. It's very good how they've made Sherlock look very suspicious. Even Watson looks fucking angry at me. Look at those eyes. That is the look of a man who wants to rip your throat out. I don't blame you, Watson. It's been a bit of an asshole today, hasn't he? Can I? Still using the old ball and chains, eh? Here's your pen, Mr. Shillman.
Well.
There you go, Mr. Generic weird German accent man. It's very generic accent, isn't it?
You have what you wanted. Your precious pen.
You seem annoyed, Mr. Holmes.
See?
I would even go so far as to say terribly worried.
Why should you care, Mr. Shillman? Let's talk about that poison.
I am not talking about you in the grip of natural emotions found in ordinary people who are confronted by the inexplicable. But as for Mr. Holmes, you are embarrassed, aren't you? Are you hiding something?
That is enough, Shillman.
You have kept your word. Therefore, I will keep mine. At this moment, the poison which so interests you isn't finished yet. Its maker is encountering great difficulties in attaining the desired results.
What is the end result?
Now, Mr. Holmes, the end result of any science, as Descartes once said, to become the master and owner of nature. Here we are talking about human nature, of course. And the creator's problem isn't so much the mixture as the durability of his creation.
What do you mean?
You see, this poison was made using rare but very volatile short-living compounds, which means that it is only possible to produce small quantities, which most importantly do not keep for a long time. Conceiving such a product in a laboratory especially built for the purpose could be achieved by any good chemist. But recopying this alchemy on another scale and keeping it ready at any moment, observing the particular conservation and storing conditions that a substance of this type requires, well, that would need a genius. I doubt if the creator of this mixture would be capable.
And you would be, of course.
Of course.
Luckily, you are going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Luck is cyclical. It always comes around again, sooner or later. As far as I am concerned, I have the feeling that the cycle is going to be very short.
What's it going to write on?
Holmes, it sounds to me as though this Shieldman is implying that an escape attempt will be made.
Yes, we must go and warn the director.
Okay. It's funny how his accent kept slipping between German and French. It's quite funny. That's what I heard anyway. I do like old shitty accents like that. You know, if you play like really old like games from like the early 90s and the like accents for European countries and stuff, they're so wank, but they are so funny to listen to. You think this guy got paid to talk like this, you know? Like, my God. Great.
It is out of the question that your bastard is named Patterson.
Bastard.
Very well. You refuse to reveal the father to me? Well, then go and join him. I'm not stopping you.
I can't.
Director, you will have to postpone this small family reunion. We believe that a serious scheme is afoot. We must act without delay.
You're not thinking of...
Yes, Shieldman's words leave no room for doubt. It seems that he is planning an escape attempt. We strongly advise you to search his cell.
Do you really believe that he's hiding something? Because I must make an official report and have a legitimate reason for doing a search.
Director, if this prison is still in operation, it is solely because of its reputation. Think of the consequences of an escape. It would be closed at once. And what post do you imagine would be offered to the person deemed responsible?
You're right. No one will escape from Westgate under Patterson. I will order an immediate search of Mr. Shieldman's cell.
Chief Warden James reporting. The search of prisoner Hans Shieldman's cell has been carried out. No suspicious items were found.
Thank you, Chief James.
What about the pen?
I feel better now. Without wishing to offend you, Mr. Holmes, I am glad that you were mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken, we've nothing more to do here. Shall we go, Holmes?
There's just one more thing for me to see, Watson.
What's that?
Mr. Holmes, sorry to interrupt you, but Miss Jenny wishes to see you alone. She's waiting for you in her office.
This, Watson.
How did you know?
Wait for me in the guards room. I won't be long.
What an extraordinary gentleman that Sherlock Holmes is. You must have had lots of adventures with him.
Oh, yes, dozens.
Thought he was infallible, but there wasn't anything out of the way in the rat killer's cell. Could he have been mistaken?
I must admit...
Warden Brighton, in my office immediately. That's an order.
Oh, looks like Sherlock dobbed him in.
Seems furious.
Yes. It must be important for him to order Brighton to leave his post.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes.
Did you hear that?
No.
Yes, that's not normal. I've never heard Flint shout like that.
But why doesn't O'Sullivan sound the alarm?
Follow me, Mackenzie. Let's go and have a look.
I'll come with you.
No, Dr. Watson, you're not allowed in. Wait for me here.
Very well.
You're not going to take a gun with you? No?
Hey, but the grill is blocked, Chief.
We've been locked in. And that smoke, it's coming from below. O'Sullivan, can you hear us?
Sully, are you alive? Answer us, Sully.
What's going on? Can I help you?
Sound the alarm in the guards room. That should unblock the door. Be quick. O'Sullivan might be in danger.
This is all happening very conveniently, isn't it? So it looks like Sherlock went and convinced Jenny to tell her daddy.
It doesn't work.
It don't work, chap.
Hey, what are you waiting for to sound the alarm, Doctor?
It's impossible. It's been damaged. I'll run and warn the director.
No, Doctor, our priority is to save O'Sullivan. Go ahead through the visitors' corridor and see if he answers your call.
Very well.
Take the keys, they're in our room.
Keys. Oh. Oh no, can I not go back to Sherlock?
The door is locked, and I can hear shouting and crying. We're in the middle of some family drama, so there's no chance of them hearing me.
I do like in the background. Ah, amazing. But Sherlock's just sitting on the chair eating popcorn.
I've got the keys, Doctor. Thank you.
That sounded like Hans Schillman.
The alarm.
Finally, there you are, Holmes.
Why did he give the keys to Hans?
Follow me, Watson. We must repair the alarm.
Okay.
I'm going to turn on the system. Watson, you make sure of the contact.
I hope that this isn't dangerous.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? That was hard.
It works.
Perfect.
It's open. Let's go down.
Be careful. From what your colleague said, the flints are out.
We are trained for this sort of situation. And we're armed.
Come and help us, Watson.
What are they armed with?
Everything is back to normal. Thank you for your help, gentlemen.
What?
It was a pleasure.
But where is O'Sullivan? He's no longer here. He must have gone out through the visitors' entrance.
Yes, and he must be pleased to have gotten out of the basement.
Good. We must now check all the cells. It's the procedure in case of an alarm.
We'll come and help you.
You are evidently fond of wasting time, my dear fellow. Rejoin me at the reception when you've finished.
Is he dead or alive? I can't... Oh no, they're definitely alive. Coolio. Okay, Mr. Hans Schillman, who's obviously not going to be O'Sullivan.
The grate is open. This is alarming. He's fine where he is, under the cover, still.
How can he sleep with all this noise?
He's unconscious.
Admit it's not normal. Perhaps the smoke has poisoned him. I had better take a look.
Be careful, Doctor. He is dangerous.
Hold on, they searched this guy's cell and they didn't find that pen. Oh, weird. Oh, my God! It's O'Sullivan!
It's impossible. He was with us only a few moments ago. Or else...
Or else it wasn't O'Sullivan.
My God. He's escaped.
My God.
The rat killer has escaped.
You literally give him the keys, Watson. Well, he looks really tiny. He looks like he's... It's like he's got no legs. Let's hope this guy's still alive. He just threw the keys to the rat person. Or the rat killer. Oh, where we going? I mean, we need to go to Holmes, but let's go over here.
The door is locked.
Oh no. I was hoping you could go and talk to them. Well, that's them. This should be the end of this area now. Quite short the prison part was.
I must warn Holmes.
Oh.
Ah, Holmes, there you are. Hans has escaped.
Bloody hands.
This inquiry is a bitter defeat for us.
Not at all, my dear fellow. Quite the contrary. Follow me.
Oh, sounds suspicious.
Be behind the prison.
We have an appointment, Watson.
What? Bloody autosave.
Look who is waiting for us.
Shieldman, I'll go back and alert the guards.
Calm down. He's harmless.
But what is he doing here? Why hasn't he run away?
Because I asked him not to.
Are you telling me that you helped him to escape?
Quite so, as he wouldn't have been able to do so alone.
But how? And why? He's a dangerous madman. Holmes, you've made me an accomplice in this escape. You owe me some explanation.
And you will have them, but my priority for the moment is to remove our new friend to a safe place. I won't be long, but I must go alone. I'll rejoin you later. Just give me your next destination.
Very well. I suppose you know what you're doing.
How could you doubt it? Here, take the notes. They will help you when you write up the account of our visit to Westgate. So, where do I find you?
Home.
I think it would be better to go back to Baker Street.
All right, I will join you there.
Holmes' notes regarding the way that he helped Hans 𝘨𝘡man to escape from prison are so extraordinary that I feel it would be better to transcribe word for word the conversation that he had after. Regarding this matter, I felt the impatience in my friend's look. However, he delayed relaying to me the details of his incredible achievement. He began by telling me about 𝘨𝘡man's fountain pen. This is what he said. The key to the escape was actually the fountain pen. I discovered a note inside his locker. I quote it from you from memory. Whoever is smart enough to open this case should know that a couple of drops of my masterpiece are mixed together with the ink inside the pen's reservoir. If you're reading this note, it means that I'm in a tight spot. So understand that my special ink would temporarily destroy the will of anyone it touches. Therefore, you have a few precious seconds during which you can turn or shape the subject's will. Wow. If you recognize my genius, use this knowledge to get me out of this embarrassing situation that I'm undoubtedly in. 𝘨𝘡man had left the instrument for his future escape inside a case secured by a devious combination. It wasn't really devious though, was it? It was easy. The way he could ensure that none of his prison staff would find it, other than a well-informed friend. Understanding this, I decided to play along with him with a double game of my own. I would help him to escape, but I would also keep him under control by using his own creation on him. Wow. I allowed 𝘨𝘡man to commence the game by giving him his pen, and then I started to advance my pawns. My first move was to persuade the director that it was necessary to search the cell. I therefore passed the ball onto 𝘨𝘡man's court by giving him the opportunity with Warden James. He did not waste it. He coated the bars with of his cell with poison ink, and Warden James, whose hands were contaminated, was under the control for a few seconds. He discreetly and simply gave orders to James to give him the keys. Wow, that is a potent, powerful poison. PPPs. The ball was then back in my court. I had to find a way of neutralizing Warden O'Sullivan, who was to be the basement guard, as we discovered when we found Patterson's duty sheet. I must admit that the young warden helped me enormously by asking me to sign the visitor's book. Absorbed in detail, I went over the chronology, the events in my mind. Man, I suck at reading, don't I? I remarked that Holmes had already signed the visitor's book before giving 𝘨𝘡man his pen. He replied in the most annoying tone, "Exactly, I anticipated it, actually." It was because of that I managed to get a step ahead of my game with 𝘨𝘡man. I was leading the race, and all the while he believed it to be the other way round. 𝘨𝘡man did not suspect that I had already used his poison, and thought that O'Sullivan being asleep was a godsend. He therefore was not suspicious about the letter of reference he found inside the warden's pocket. Holmes then returned to the point at which he had broken from his tale, to point out to me the lack of pertinence to my remark. So he wrote a note telling the person who read the note. He wrote in the note to the person reading it to wait outside, knowing that 𝘨𝘡man would read the note. Hence why 𝘨𝘡man's waiting for him underneath this tree outside the police station. Surely that's what I'm getting at anyway. He was not suspicious about the letter of reference that he found in the warden's pocket. Wow. Oh no, continued. But do not put the cart before the horse, Watson. Do not continue. Do let me continue. So by merely touching the fresh ink upon the page in the visitor's book, O'Sullivan was under my control. I suggested a state of advanced drowsiness, but ordered him not to do anything immediately. Just sufficient for him to be unable to resist the siesta during his guard duty. Okay, that's why he said he looked tired. Later, after changing of the guard, 𝘨𝘠𝘮 used the keys to let himself out the cell. He hit the sleeping Sullivan over the head, exchanged his prison uniform for the warden's. Then he created a smoke screen by using the ingredients that I had given him: sugar from Miss Patterson's tea tray, Brighton's bicarbonate of soda, potassium nitrate from the guard's room, and sulfur from a few matches. He used the keys again to free the Flint brothers. The two ruffians leapt at each other's throats and made the very dickens of a noise. He had the division he needed to leave the high security area. That is the moment where you entered the game, Watson. Thinking that you were helping, Ghost Sullivan, you allowed Hans to open the corridor annex bars by throwing him the keys. On my side, I opened the second lock by turning the alarm on again. In light of Holmes's explanation, I began to see my actions during the episode from quite another angle. I was troubled by the way he had used me without my having any idea at the time of the duplicity of my actions. I interrupted his monologue to refer to the guards who had not realized that was happening, and who was occupied with restraining the Flint brothers. Holmes continued, exactly. So there was only one obstacle in front of 𝘨𝘮𝘮, Warden Brighton on the reception desk at the front of the building. I interrupted again, but it was the director who summoned him so insistently, Holmes. You won't have me believe that he was an accomplice in this game. It's obvious that Holmes told the director. We don't need to know this. I provoked the director's rage towards Brighton. Too impatient, I could not stop myself from asking how. I discovered that Jenny Patterson and Brighton were lovers. Tee-hee! What an asshole. I also knew the director did not have any idea about their affair, and that he would surely fall into a foul rage if he found out. I asked him if there was a reason why Miss Patterson had been summoned. She knew that I had opened her locket to find the guard duty list, and so she knew I was aware of her affair with Brighton. She wanted to make sure that I would not say anything. I pointed out that I had rather unfeeling on this part to have told the director anything, reminding him of his promise to the young woman. Oh my god. It's just going around ruining everyone's life, isn't he? I pointed out that it had been rather unfeeling on his part to have told the director, oh yeah, so he denied it in a somewhat hypocritical manner. I did not say anything. I simply left the lovers' letters inside the urgent correspondent box in the secretary's office. Wow. Knowing that they'll be delivered to him for a few minutes later, therefore provoking his anger. That's just... Where are we? He's really ruined these two people's lives, hasn't he? The director shouted at Brighton, who rushed off to the secretary's office. 𝘨𝘮𝘮 now had nothing to stand between him and the front door. Another question leapt into my mind, and not the least important one. Why did he not simply run away when he was outside? Why did he wait? It was not disappointment on my friend's answer. It's evidence, my dear Watson. If he did not run away, then it was only thanks to the aforementioned step ahead, of which I told you about. It gave me enough time to write the letter of recommendation. Ah, yes, it gave him the time to write the letter of recommendation for Sullivan with a poisoned pen in the pocket of the uniform, and then 𝘨𝘨𝘮𝘮 could not resist reading it when what was written on the letter. Not very much. Just congratulations on your escape. Wait for me here. I gaped at him. Yeah, so Holmes already knew that 𝘨𝘨𝘮𝘮 would escape. It's crazy. That's like thinking in like 4D chess, but like 8D. And now that is how the first and only escape from the most inviolable prison? Inviolable? I keep using big words. My tiny monkey brain doesn't understand. Anyway, in the most something prison in the kingdom came to pass, a scenario which, without doubt, will prove to be the focus of police college studies for a long time to come, as one of the most extraordinary cases in the history of modern prison. You mean how... like, all the guards were... It's not their fault though, was it? They were poisoned. That's crazy. I don't believe I read all that. Sorry about that. At least we know why though. But yeah, see? Words with him, it's gears within gears with Holmes.
Oh, so all that for nothing.
Oh, God.
Oh, they didn't find anything. Sherlock Holmes isn't a nice man, is he? I don't think I like him now.
Look what I found.
Don't do that. We don't like him, but you shouldn't hit him like that.
Give that back. It's only a doll.
This is Sherlock Holmes's attic. All this must have belonged to him. I want to know what happens next. Keep reading.
3 trails and 2 dead ends. The poor nephew is dead, but Baines has the bishop's murderers. The only one left is the rat killer. Have you questioned him?
No.
May I ask when you're going to do it?
When I have found him.
What? You're not trying to tell me that he's escaped again?
Yes, but this time it's not your fault, nor mine for that matter.
You've been using me, Holmes. I unwittingly aided one of the most dangerous criminals in the kingdom to escape. So please tell me why.
An explanation would be futile. It would only lead to further pointless questions.
But do you have even the slightest notion as to where he might be hiding?
Forget Hans Schielmann for the moment, Watson. Just concentrate on the fact that the bishop is on the chessboard.
In any case, the news has spread like wildfire. Look at the headlines. All the papers are talking about it. And the Globe Explorer, their editors must be jumping for joy.
Let the dogs bark with the pack, Watson.
But how could Farley be so well informed? Look, he also mentions our visit to the opium den, and in great detail. How did he know?
Let me see. Contrary to what you might think, Watson, I do not consider that all of our trails have led to dead ends. We're simply missing a common denominator, something that links them together. And our journalist's mystery informer might just be that missing link.
Should we attempt to uncover his identity?
It is essential that we do so. Let us examine the map. We must talk to Mr. Farley.
Oh my God, I'm not reading all that crap. I just read your book. I refuse to read anything from this dumbass O'Farley. But please feel free to, you know, pause and then read it. But, you know, the fact that he has evidence or such intimate knowledge would either mean that Sherlock's told him or Watson's told him. Oh, O'Farley. So that's where we're heading off to next, is Farley's office. It should be fun, shouldn't it?